My name is Ann Supa, and I'm a nutrition educator here at Cornell Cooperative Extension. And today you're joining us for Nutrition in the Kitchen, and we're here on Upper Front Street in the commercial kitchen in the Regional Farmers Market. Today we are going to do blueberry muffins, but I'm not focusing mostly on making the muffin. It's how to make some modifications so you can take a recipe and make it healthier for you. So, I love to focus on blueberries. Blueberries are very plentiful during the month of July, first part of August. They're super nutritious. They have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. But first, let's go over our recipe and then I'll fill you in as we go along on what nutrients we have. So, I have a cup of fresh blueberries, and this is an interesting step. I'm going to just dump them in my Tupperware container and take a tablespoon of flour. The reason we're putting flour on them, and then we're going to shake up the container, is if you coat them in flour, they won't sink all to the bottom. You'll have blueberries all through your muffins, which is kind of nice because they do like to sink to the bottom. So, up next, we are going to add 1/3 of a cup of skim milk. You could use other milk, but we want to try to modify our recipe to make it healthier, so I chose skim milk, 1 egg, and a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. The recipe originally called for sour cream, but sour cream is made from the cream of the milk, which has a lot of extra fat in it that we really don't need in that muffin. And the yogurt makes it very creamy and moist without all those extra calories, because we're all watching our calories and what we're eating. So we just kind of cream it all together. Then I also modified this. This is sugar. It called for 1/2 cup. I tapered it back a little, and I'm using 1/3 of a cup of sugar and some baking soda and baking powder. It called for 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I touched it back to 1/2 teaspoon. You want to add a little salt because the salt will bring out the flavor of the recipe. Nutmeg, a teaspoon of nutmeg. If you don't have nutmeg, you could, in a pinch, use some cinnamon, because they're all in the same kind of family. So I'm going to just cream together my spices and my baking soda and baking powder. I will tell you, if you don't do a lot of baking and you haven't done it in the last 6 months, maybe purchase some new baking powder and baking soda, because they do wear off during sitting on the shelf and you won't have that rise to your muffin. The recipe called for 1 3/4 cup of flour. I chose to use a cup of white, and then I switched it over to 3/4 of a cup of whole wheat flour. That way we're going to get that nice grain in there. So we're going to just blend it all together. And the key to making a nice muffin is don't overmix your batter. So you just want it all creamed together, it's all moist, but if you whip it too much, it's going to be a tough muffin, and we don't want a tough muffin after we've done this work. Next, we're going to add our cup of floured blueberries, if I can get the top off. You don't have to put it in a Tupperware container, I just thought that was kind of easy to do. So you add that in, and you're just going to fold in your blueberries. Super easy like that. Blueberries are very high in antioxidants, which helps our immune system, especially since we have been going through a pandemic. We need to eat a little extra antioxidants. Also has a lot of vitamin C, and by using blueberries, they have a lot of fiber. So we're just going to scoop our muffins in. There. Now you're probably wondering, what makes this recipe so much healthier? I went online and I found out that a commercial blueberry muffin that you would buy at a restaurant or get at the convenience store has almost 500 calories. Extra calories that you aren't getting any nutrients. You're getting a lot of high fat, saturated fat, and 10 teaspoons of sugar. We don't need those kids bouncing off the wall anymore. And that's 3 days worth of sugar in our diet right there. So we're going to put these in the oven. It actually makes a full dozen. Here is the beautiful blueberry muffins. Sometimes people like to sprinkle sugar on top, but you don't really need it. By putting less sugar in it and the nutmeg, it brings out the flavor of the blueberries versus just that high sugar content. And you're wondering what other nutrients it had in it. It had vitamin C, it had some magnesium, which helps regulate your blood sugar. So it's a good healthy choice if you're watching how much sugar you consume in your diet. 84 calories and a cup of blueberries. And there you go, a simple way to modify your recipe, taking out some of the fats. You can do it at your home. I did try this a couple of times to find the right combination, so my family and coworkers enjoyed these muffins. So thank you for joining me for this month's Nutrition in the Kitchen. Join us next month here at the Regional Farmers Market, and you can shop every Saturday here at the Regional Farmers Market, and you can do this blueberry picking out in Broome County. Make it a family event. Show those kids where these blueberries came from. They just didn't come onto the grocery store. Go out, get some vitamin D, have some family time, and then go home and make these wonderful muffins.